Don Smith, and today I'd like to introduce my team when you sign up for a workshop with either myself and Ron Modra, and we've been working together now, Ron, for about 3 years?
3 years.
3 years, and now I officially have my wife Beri as part of the team. She had been a longtime teacher, and our boys are growing out of the house, and now she's working for me and handling all my office. So I want to start with Beri first. When a person writes us, Beri, for a workshop, typically they're going to get a response back from you. And this is, people will, you could write us about really anything about a workshop. First of all, let me tell you where our website is, and it's up on screen here. It's www.donsmithphotography.com. Ron, they can also go to your website, which is
ronaldcmodra.com.
Okay, and but really any questions about the workshops, you want to direct them my way. That's don@donsmithphotography.com, and that's really where Beri comes into play. And why don't you tell them, Beri, a little bit about like some of the questions we get and what you do?
Well, where I come in, I don't know anything about photography, so if you have a photography-related question, that would go to Don or Ron. But if you have a question about what to pack, what the weather might be like, where we're going, is there a chance to buy whatever wherever we're going, those sorts of things, I can help with that.
Yeah, I know we've gotten a lot of questions just with our last Scotland workshop about exchange rates, things of that sort. One of the questions we get a lot is, do they speak English where we're going? We're going to be down in Patagonia in about 3 weeks from making this video. And it's almost embarrassing to say, everywhere we go, English is pretty much everybody's second language, is what we're finding out, which makes it comfortable for us to interact, but also we want our guests to make sure that when they come, they don't feel like they have to learn the language on a crash course, right. That the hotels and the tours groups and our tour guides all speak English.
Right,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I just address other issues other than photography, and I also sign people up, record who's coming on what workshop, and I'll help you if you have changes you need to make, things like that.
Yeah, great. All right, well, let's come on over to Ron. And Ron and I have known each other a long time. There's a funny little story. Well, not so funny for me, but my goal years and years ago was to make it as a photographer for Sports Illustrated, and Ron was already a staff photographer, and a story came up, Ron, on Beri Bonds.
It was, yeah.
Why don't you tell, you had been working on doing, it was going to be a cover story, and I know you went through a lot of trials and tribulations with Beri.
I did. He ran me through the hoops, literally. And so it was a story on Beri after he left the Pittsburgh Pirates and went to the San Francisco Giants. I was assigned to do the feature on him. And Beri just fought me at every single corner to try to get all the images that we needed. Ultimately, after 2 trips from New York to San Francisco, we finally got it done. I never did get the image that I wanted. We were supposed to photograph him at the cable car barn, which we had set up on a number of days to photograph him, but he never showed. So ultimately, it all came together. Don was part of it. And so it actually finally worked out. But I didn't have a very good relationship with Beri after that.
Well, and realistically, I ended up with the cover.
Yeah.
You ended up getting the credit for the cover.
That's right.
The cover shot was really nothing. It was a picture of Beri standing on deck with his one leg crossed over the other, leaning on his bat, looking back up into the stands of his kids, who used to come out to a lot of the games. That would have been a throwaway shot for me, but I think because of the way the story went and how much problems there were for both you and the writer.
Well, once again, it worked out perfectly because the editors decided to go with the headline, "I'm Beri Bonds and you're not." And so that photograph that you shot absolutely worked out perfectly for the story.
It made him look a little cocky.
For the story that they were writing about Beri Bonds, which I believe, if I'm correct, I don't think Beri ever spoke to the magazine after that story ran, and he certainly never spoke to me again. After I published a book, and there was a substantial story on Beri in the book that someone told me it was brought to his attention. So anyway, that was the story about Beri Bonds, and like Don said, we've known each other a really long time. My background was at Sports Illustrated for 25 years, and right now I am absolutely thrilled to be working on these workshops with Don. It's just been something that is just, for me creatively, has just been absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. I think Don and I bring a couple of different styles to the landscape photography. I'm enjoying the teaching aspect of it, and I really like at this stage of my career, what I'm doing with Don, and I'm thankful to Don every day that he brought me in on this program, and we're really enjoying it. I mean, it was really kind of a shot in the dark because we had discussed doing something together, but we had never really worked together. And so naturally we go to the farthest point of the world, Patagonia, for our first joint trip together, and it couldn't have worked out better. We worked really great together. I enjoyed working with him and loved working with Beri, and it's now going on our 4th year. It's been a really spectacular relationship, and so I thank you on that, Don.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. And that was kind of a funny story too, because I called him and we finally had an opening. I work a lot with Gary Hart. And Ron said, gosh, if you ever got an opening, and these workshops are planned, as you know now, a year out in advance at least, even in the thought process longer than that. And I called Ron one day. Gary didn't want to go to Patagonia, so I called Ron and I said, I got a workshop for you. And I remember you saying, great, where are we going? I said, Patagonia. Great. Where's Patagonia? And I don't know, a month and a half later, the 3 of us were on a plane and down we went and spent Easter down there and scouted, and we'll be going down there from the day we're cutting this video. In about 3 weeks, we'll be back down there again. This will actually be our last tour down in Patagonia because we're going to swap it out for Norway. And we're trying to keep things fresh and unique. A lot about what I like about what Ron brings to the table is just sort of a unique perspective and a different look at landscapes. I think he and I are drawn to the same style of landscape. I've always say on my videos and my writings that I'm drawn to the edges of the day when the light's really kind of exciting. And I think, Ron, you're kind of learning that now, that the light's really different.
Yeah, absolutely,
and unique.
because most of the assignments I did at Sports Illustrated, we had to work under the conditions that were presented to us. I mean, if we were doing a football game and it rained, that so be it. That's the way we had to. That's the way we had to do the game. Football games, for the most part, are noon starts in the Midwest, and so you're just working under some really nasty, harsh lighting. And what we're doing now is, like Don said, we're working in the morning, working in the late afternoon, and we're really coming up with some spectacular lighting for a lot of the workshops that we're doing. And so again, it's a whole different kind of photography that I'm doing and have been introduced to, and really enjoying it. It's great, and we'd love to have you come on a couple of our workshops. We've got some new ones that we're going to be presenting in the next 6 or 8 months, and it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. So this is the team. I'm with 2 really good people here. I am still working with Gary. We still do a couple of workshops together. And I've cut my schedule back overall a little bit, well, quite a bit. But we're still offering 10 workshops a year right now. I had hit 18 last year, and that was just in a couple of scouting trips and a few trips here and there, and that just sort of was a little too much. So we've scaled it back to something that's really manageable for me. I think it's fun for Ron. Beri's finally getting to travel with me after all these years. We're empty nesters. And so this is my team. I'm excited moving forward. Again, if you want to sign up for any of my workshops, please go to www.donsmithphotography.com. Click on the workshops link right there on the home page, and then click on the workshop of your choice, and you can, again, always email me. It's up here on the screen, don@donsmithphotography.com. If you have any questions for Ron, give us your email, Ron.
It's ronaldcmodra@aol.com.
Great. Okay, so we hope to see you guys at a future workshop. We have a great time. Usually our groups really gel. That's what I really have come away. I've made some great friendships Really people I count as some of my best friends.
It's not only the photography aspect of it, but it's really a great social experience too. You get to meet a lot of people from different parts of the country, different backgrounds work-wise, and it's really an enjoyable experience. We try to keep the groups down to, 12, and so the interaction with everybody is really great. So we'd really love to have you.
Yeah, check us out online. Send an email. Beri will get back to you. She checks them every day. Even on Sunday, I notice she goes into the office and checks emails. So we do have a policy. We like to get back to you within 24 hours of you sending us an email. So I think that's about it, gang. Anything else either one of you want to say? So we hope to see some of you at future workshops. We have a great time. Join in.